Interestingly, the Prime Minister told Party Room after a question prompted from one of the Liberal MPs about going full term when the next federal election might be. We have to point out that polls are retrospective. They're not predictive. And I think the Prime Minister ruling out an election until 2022, that might be the case now. You don't go to an election lightly, but it will all depend on what the Prime Minister judges as his best opportunity to win an election.
Absolutely right. And I guess the PM's conscious JobKeeper's coming off. The rules have already changed. It's coming off in full in March. And that might be a tougher time for the government. So he's thinking ahead. But it was also put to me, Laura, this was about making sure the MPs weren't getting too complacent and too arrogant in their electorates. There really is a view down here that they're going to win the next election. The view until yesterday was that it was almost certainly in the second half of next year. And they just thought they were going to skate home, some MPs, I think. So, and some Labor MPs just thought, well, we're gone or we're about a 40% chance of winning. So he's trying to change the narrative around that. And say,
well, perhaps we should remind them, Andrew Clennell, that you can lose the unlosable. Just ask Bill Shorten. And perhaps they could ask Malcolm Turnbull as well, who nearly lost the unlosable in 2016 as well. But finally, before I let you go, I just want to quickly point out this extraordinary letter penned by CEOs in Victoria now pleading with Daniel Andrews to let people go back to work. I'll be really interested to see how he handles this morning because this is exactly the same message that Josh Frydenberg had for the Premier and has had consistently over the last couple of weeks. The criticism of Josh Frydenberg is that he's being political. Well, the AMA, small business, big business, they're not all being political, are they?
Well, sure, politicians are political, and I'm sure there's an element of that. But I also think that Josh Frydenberg is hearing stories, even in his own electorate, of people with poor mental health, suicide and the rest. And I'm sure that's affecting his view of these things, as it would anyone. When you've got one new case a day, how do you justify not a fuller reopening, Laura?
No, that's right. I mean, now we're on par with New South Wales, and New South Wales is a good example of how you can and need to open up business. I mean, we're going to live with this reality for months, if not years.
Years, in my opinion, but maybe I'm a bit of a pessimist, you know. But I think that, yeah, I absolutely... What worries me the most is and what worries the feds as well, is it's an admission they don't think they're up to it with contact tracing. They're paranoid that contact tracing's not going to work. And look, if that happens again, oh, what a dreadful situation that would be.
Yeah, absolutely. Just quickly, interesting tactics from Labor and Question Time there. Seem to be using each session to hone in on one issue. On Tuesday, it was childcare. Yesterday, it was this $30 million plot of land that was only worth $3 million. What do you think they'll go for today?
I think that'll ramp up that latter issue and perhaps relationships with Daryl Maguire and others in the federal government or around representations. I think that will continue to ramp up. I've got to say on childcare, they'll continue to press that. Their belief is that Morrison's policies and announcements are squarely aimed at men around tradies and whatnot. They are the votes in the outer suburbs he thinks he needs, the working class, and they think there's an opportunity to gain the votes of women. And childcare is a great policy to do that.